Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to share with you some fragrances that I recommend that you never buy or that I would personally never have in my collection. Some of which I think are too popular, some of which I just don't think they are good fragrances whatsoever. But before we get there, I want to remind you to subscribe and to press the notifications bell. Let's get started. So the first fragrance that I don't particularly like, this one I don't own and I don't think I will be owning anytime soon unless someone again gives it to me. It is Black Opium from Saint Laurent. Now my issue with this fragrance, I think it smells wonderfully. It is a sweet, slightly spicy fragrance, has a lot of coffee. That's kind of the main note that it is famous for, the coffee, the pear, the vanilla. My issue with it is that, yeah, it's just too popular. Way too many girls love it and just own it. Way too many guys buy it for other girls. And I feel like every time I go out or every time I talk to someone, like a girl, about what fragrance they enjoy wearing or they want to purchase, they always talk to me about Black Opium. Again, it's a nice fragrance. I just don't think it's worth the hype. If you are looking for a night out, sexy, sweet fragrance, I 100% recommend La Nuit Trésor from Lancôme 100 times over. This is a sweet, fruity fragrance. It has patchouli. It also has coffee, actually. It also has vanilla. And it is just a lot sexier, a lot more mysterious, a lot more unique. This is probably one of my most complimented fragrances ever, if not the most at the moment. So yeah, if you're looking for something for a night out or even for daytime, like I have worn this in the winter during daytime, which is probably not the best time to wear it, but I have done it and people literally chase me. Like I have had like at least 3 people who have chased me to write down the name of this fragrance. So up for this one, not so much for Black Opium, though I think the Black Opium Intense one is a little bit nicer. The next one I have here that I don't really particularly like that much is Eternity for Men Aqua from Calvin Klein. Again, like Black Opium, this smells completely fine. I do have some fragrances coming up that I cannot stand the smell of. This one smells fine. I just, man, like I would never buy this for anybody. I wouldn't wear it on myself. It's very simple, doesn't last very long at all. It's just like a nice aquatic cucumber based fragrance. It really does smell like cucumbers, which that part is kind of cool. But yeah, it doesn't last very long at all, doesn't project anything crazy. If someone gave me this as a gift and I was a guy, or I don't know, maybe I would wear it too, I would probably just wear it for the gym or just for like a really hot day that you have to be outside and maybe not do anything super important or special. Like it's just a nice, clean, fresh, ozonic fragrance, but nothing out of the ordinary. Like if you really want a fragrance that is very fresh and good for every day and, you know, inoffensive, I would say just go for Acqua di Giò. Like yes, everybody owns that fragrance, but I still think it's a lot sexier and a lot longer lasting than Eternity for Men Aqua. So another fragrance that I would never personally purchase for myself or for anybody else is C from Giorgio Armani. I'm sure you're very familiar with that fragrance. It is incredibly popular. To be honest, I do like the scent. Like when I do pick up the bottle and try it out, I enjoy, you know, what C smells like, and I enjoy what the flankers smell like, the C Passione and C Fiori and the Intense and all the different flankers that it has. But I would personally just never really wear it because I think it's cloyingly sweet. And actually a few years ago when I was like 18 or something and this fragrance was like really, really famous at the time, I went to a store to see if, you know, if they had it and if I could try it out, and the lady there was like, are you sure you want to try out C or like to purchase C for yourself? Like this is like an old lady fragrance. She literally said that to me. And of course at the time I didn't particularly understand what she meant by that, but now that I know more about fragrances and that I've smelled it a little bit more, it's just, again, cloyingly sweet. It'll give you a headache. It's just very grandma like. I know some girls like it, but I just would not wear that fragrance unless I were like 40 or up. It's kind of the same vibe as La Vie Est Belle. That one's also marketed towards older women, And I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense. La Vie est Belle has Julia Roberts as its campaign person, and C has Cate Blanchett. So it really does make sense that they are marketing older women and also having older women as their poster people. So yeah, not C. I won't be getting that one anytime soon. The next fragrance that I would not purchase for any guy or recommend that any guy wears, or any girl really, is 1 Million from Paco Rabanne. And I know you might be grasping because this is very popular, and it is a good fragrance, don't get me wrong. I appreciate that it has a lot of cinnamon. I love cinnamon. I appreciate the grapefruit, which I also really enjoy grapefruit in fragrances. It has mint. It is very warm, spicy. However, it doesn't last very long. Not on my skin, not on the skin of people I have spoken to about this fragrance. I think it smells nice. I don't think it's anything crazy. To me, it smells a little bit dated now. Like, it smells more for like an older man. I wouldn't really recommend this for a younger one. However, I do really enjoy the Lucky version, the 1 Million Lucky version. This one is very sweet. The grapefruit is very prominent here, and it smells a little bit like bubble gum. It's a lot more youthful. It's not youthful, but compared to this one, it's a lot more youthful and just like a lot sexier in my opinion. I also think it's safely unisex. Like, I wear this one all the time, and it also lasts longer. So don't buy 1 Million Lucky, instead get 1 million. Sorry, don't buy 1 million, instead get 1 Million Lucky. So the other fragrance I would personally not ever purchase or maybe gift to anyone is Daisy from Marc Jacobs. This fragrance, literally everybody I know owns it or wears it. I don't know what it is that I personally have against it. I just never really liked it. I don't like wearing a fragrance called Daisy or Daisy Dream or Daisy Love. Like, I think the names are kind of cheesy a little bit. And if it smelled great, like, I wouldn't care about the name, but I have so many other great fragrances in my collection that I don't see why I would ever choose that one out of all the ones that I have. It's just an easy to wear, inoffensive white floral, which curiously has like every flower out there except for Daisy's. Go figure. So yeah, it's pretty, it's feminine, very, very inoffensive, but I don't really think it's, you know, the ultimate fantastic fragrance. And I always recommend light blue intense or the original for people who do want that fresh, inoffensive daily fragrance. I think this one's a lot sexier because of the citrus in here. And I don't know, I think it just works out a lot better, but to each their own, I guess. So another fragrance is Versace Eros, the male version. I do own the female version, and I don't particularly think it's anything great, but I think it's a little bit better than the male one. I know the male one is hugely popular. I do enjoy that it has mint, that it has some citrus in there, and I know it usually gets a lot of compliments from girls and stuff, but I just think it's like a little bit cheap smelling, and whenever I smell someone wearing it, I wish they would wear something a little bit more sophisticated. I also think it's very like youthful. I think it's definitely one of those fragrances that once you hit like 20 or like 22, you probably, I don't know, should wear something else. Just my opinion. I mean, if you do enjoy it, I know again it's a huge compliment getter. I just think there are way better male fragrances out there regardless of the popularity of this one. So the next fragrance that I do not like at all, I actually do have in my collection. This is Gucci Bloom Acqua di Fiori. This was a gift to me. I've worn it probably like twice or 3 times, and that was me trying to be nice and desperately trying to find like a way to wear it or like a place to wear it to. I cannot stand this fragrance, to be honest. Even if I spray it once, it gives me a huge headache. It is very green, very flower based, has a lot of tuberose, which if you guys don't know, tuberose is hugely associated with like grandma smells. So I just don't really know what someone would ever wear this fragrance to. I'm deeply curious. Like, I have gone on Fragrantica, and once I read this comment of like someone saying that they thought this smelled like the forest, and I was like, you know, like that's a pretty nice way to put it. Like, maybe I can see it that way, but I just couldn't. Like, I can't get past how awful this smells. I'm sorry. I do like the Acqua di Giò version. I wouldn't buy it, but you know, that one's like a little bit better. This one I'm desperately trying to sell it, but I mean, it's a pretty bottle at least. So I have here Dolce Gabbana pour Homme. I mentioned this one in my latest video. Again, this is not necessarily a bad smell. I don't think it's great either. I just think it's very vintage. It was made in the 90s and it smells exactly like the 90s. It smells like, I don't know, my grandpa's aftershave, honestly. Like, I don't really recommend someone young wears this. And it's supposed to be citrusy with a lot of tobacco, but I don't get any tobacco out of it. It is a very classy, classic, elegant fragrance, so it's not all bad. I just don't particularly think it's like, you know, something that I would run after or like gift to somebody or anything like that, but it is pretty safe and it is overall nice, just nothing crazy. And I wish it did have more tobacco. I have heard that the original formulation had some tobacco that was pretty prominent, but this one lacks that. So Dolce & Gabbana pour Homme. Well, that was my list of some of the fragrances, whether in my collection or not, that I do not really recommend that you go out there and buy, because I do think there are way better fragrances in the market. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give me a like, a comment, subscribe. Let me know which fragrances you don't really like, whether they're in your collection or not. And of course, also give me a like on my Facebook page that I left down below. Thank you.